Greetings and welcome to Guild Wars 2Gasm, where we will answer any and all questions of relevance to Guild Wars 2, and questions can be submitted to my personal email account, which will be included in the ending credits as well as the description below. Feel free to write me in any questions you possibly might have about the game. Also, questions that I see constantly around forums as well as other areas of the web, I will attempt to answer. So let's get right to this, shall we? Alright, going through my email here, let's see, questions. Lots of comments, a couple questions that repeat continuously. Let's see, what we got? My thoughts on Halloween 2012 event. Did I participate, and what did I think about everything that was included in the update? Halloween 2012 I definitely participated in. I thought it was an amazing event. It really shows ArenaNet's dedication to the game and how much they're willing to update content. I did have a lot of fun. I did think it moved a little bit slowly. Obviously, I had most of the content done on each act within, probably an hour or two after the initial launch of said act. I did enjoy the labyrinth, which I really didn't figure out that you could farm below it until like the final last day of the labyrinth. So I kind of missed out on that. I really enjoyed the scavenger hunts, 2 parts. I really wish there was a 3rd scavenger hunt, however, added in Act 3, so that we could get an exotic back piece, perhaps, but maybe next year. Who knows? As far as anything, yeah, I did participate heavily. I did enjoy it, and I hope to see more continuation and more added next year to the Halloween that is currently known in Guild Wars 2. The next question is Xian and Ryu. Where the hell are they? This came from somebody who watched Zone Pirate 13 way before I ever got the idea to do this little show here, and probably remember them from the Extra Large Fix with Friends, where we just play multiplayer games before the launch of Guild Wars 2 and just act stupid and try to be elite on said games. One of the most notable ones is Post-Apocalyptic Mayhem, where me and Ryu had a strict basic vengeance toward each other, and Xian kind of was lagging it up and wasn't really any competition whatsoever. And Shoot Mini Robots, which all 3 of us had a lot of fun with. That's a good game. Xian and Ryu are actually still around. We talk on a regular basis, and actually Ryu is going to be, if you watch the intro, in this show of Guild Wars 2Gasm, in the Around Tyria section. Xian will be making an appearance. Both are in the guild that I currently run, and there will be information at the end of this video if you wish to join the guild that we are part of to submit an application. So yeah, they're still around, and you'll see more of them. We'll do other games besides Guild Wars 2 once the Guild Wars 2 hype wears down for us. I'm still a little bit more addicted than they are to it. But, Guild Wars 2 has a way of bringing people back in that just, leave and say, I'm done with this game. But, yeah, they bring them back in. Another question that came up was dwarfs in Guild Wars 2, my thoughts from past dwarf usage in other games. And this comes from a past blog viewer, because before YouTube I used to run a blog about certain MMOs that I was playing where I had dwarves, and they asked if I was really disheartened by ArenaNet's decision to kill off the dwarves. And I'll say it, I've said it before and I'll say it again, ArenaNet hasn't killed off the dwarves. As we all should know, in Guild Wars 1, the dwarves sacrificed to basically stop Primordius minions and they took the battle underground and sealed themselves in, and are made of stone, and basically lost their heart and soul, and just they fight the eternal fight against the minions of Primordus. That doesn't mean necessarily that they're all dead. Ogden Stonehealer, in fact, is in Guild Wars 2. He's not playable, nor is he interactable beyond a certain point, but he is a member of the German Priory, and the cutscene, the story scene with him, shows him turning basically to stone. So he's more or less losing the battle of flesh and bone, I suppose you would say. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he is deceased at this point, and he hasn't lost his will. He's still very of free mind and will. Therefore, it is possible that he could have produced offspring. And I believe, personally, and I'll say it right now, that we will see dwarves playable in a future expansion of Guild Wars 2. I can see it. A lot of people say, and another question that came in through a comment on one of my past few videos was, when do you think we're going to see, other races playable? The one in particular was asked, I believe, Canthan expansion, if they decide to add more playable races. We'll definitely see those in expansions, not necessarily as updates. And I think it will be a welcome addition to Guild Wars 2 if they decide to add some of the more pronounced races to be played. A lot of people say, I want script. Or a lot of people say, oh, it would be cool to be like a Quaggan. Personally, I don't think that's gonna happen. Maybe a script, who knows? It would be cool. I'd play a script. Why not? When you play a script or the shit, you guys know it. But yeah, I can see, future races coming into the expansions and everything. The other question, the last question I got is, how much gold do you got, and do you have any tips for getting gold? Because I know you collect a lot, and I know you probably got stockpiled. I've seen your gear. So, how much gold have you got? Well, it changes. You might say it changes basically on a daily level. You can see here, this is my current gold count as of this recording. And you can see my bank is extremely overflowed. I have all the expansions purchased and everything. I have a little problem being a pack rat, and my gold dictates this. I don't like to spend. I like to gather. I like to hoard money. I like to hoard items. So, I mean, I even have gold on other characters that isn't necessarily in the bank. So, oh, and another question I got a while ago, but I totally forgot about it, is like, do you have the title Golden? How much gold does it take to deposit in the bank to achieve Golden? 200 gold. 200 gold will get you the title of Golden. It has to all be in the bank at one time. You can't take out like 50 gold, put in 50 gold, take it out, put it in, and get the title. It doesn't work that way, guys. Till next time, peace. Ooh, that would have been a hell of a drop. Hey, bye!
Oh, I thought that was water. Anyways.
So basically, you said you wanted to talk a little bit about lore and where things are progressively going to.
Yeah, I wanted to point out something about like the Guild Wars story in general, right?
All right.
Guild Wars is a great universe. It's deep and rich. It's got a lot to it. But looking at the way the story of the game is, a personal story, I want to have to say it kind of sucked. Wait for the backlash. There it is.
Oh no, this is free form. I don't. This isn't all. We love Guild Wars, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I want people to, object to certain things. I mean, Zian's going to be on next week, and he has some things to say about dynamic events, and they're not all going to be friendly, and probably people will backlash it, but at the same time, it's facts that need to be stated by somebody. It's not all love, peace, and happiness all the time.
And the story of Guild Wars is kind of choppy. I mean, not a lot of the budget went into the story, and you can kind of tell. Dialogues, like, just the way it was told, too, like during the betas, I appreciated the whole art scene, like two characters on a screen talking during cinematics and all that. But after a while, it's not as interactive as I would like it to be. You know, I'd almost prefer being in game while these NPCs are talking and telling the story as I'm fighting off these guys. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot more involved. It makes you feel like you're in there. However, that's sacrificing your character's voice. So either way, there's a trade-off. But I would have preferred a silent protagonist to this.
Yeah.
Either ways.
Well, I will
Yes.
make mention of this, though, not as a retaliation point or anything like that. I'm not trying to say that what you're saying is wrong. I'm not saying what you're saying is right. I'm indifferent to it. I've got 280s now. I've been through, well, she's only on step 70, but as far as anything, who are these guys? As far as anything goes,
Destroyers.
yeah. There's actually a jumping puzzle in here. But,
Oh, we should do that.
alright, we can do that. The story does ramp up. I know you're 56 total right now. You took some time off. Because you're
57.
57. You're a consummate gamer, so, you know, your attention gets held for so long, and then you want to move on and play some more things, and then you come back to it eventually.
Yeah.
Once you progress up in the story, it does get more involved. It does get more hectic. There's a part where it feels like you're storming the beaches of Normandy, for anybody who's old enough to remember when that happened. And it gets really climactic in certain regards, and also it gets heartfelt in certain regards. But at the same time, I can see where you're coming from with like the static image, the limited gestures from each, you know, character as they converse back and forth. It just feels, I wouldn't say like a gimmick. It just feels like it could have it could have had more time put into it. It feels kind of sloppy after a while. It's like it's a fallback thing. It's the easiest way to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. I understand that, and I agree with it. Who's talking?
That's not to say with the universe itself. Like, the backstory to Guild Wars is absolutely amazing with the whole exodus of the gods and the history of Ur and King Doric and all that. Incredibly good backstory there. It's just the way it's told, and Guild Wars 1 had the same problem. They just couldn't write a good dialogue sequences for the story as it's happening.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's even a problem of the writers. We've got some of the best writers in the industry working on this game, Jeff Grubb, Rhys Sosby, and all them. But I just don't think they were given the resources to really flesh things out the way they would have liked. And I can see a lot of room for improvement, especially when we get to expansions. And personally, I think they're going to step away from these cinematics, the way the cinematics are done now. Or at least I hope they do. but I've seen some people having the same complaints about it, and maybe they'll try something new for expansions, hopefully. I would like to see the different ways they can come up with actually telling the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of the protagonists, too, I mean, we got Logan over here who's stuck in the friend zone still. I mean, I watched the ending to the Raw dungeon. Can we just bring up the point that there's absolutely no reason to join the Order of Whispers or the German Priory, in the sense that both their ideas on how to stop the Hill of Dragons pretty much got debunked by the end of the game. I mean, the Order of Whispers wanted to put the dragons back to sleep. The German Priory wanted to find alternative means of killing and/or subduing the dragons. Really, by the end, it's just run and gun it until the bastard's dead. That's what I got from the ending.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem rushed. I mean, the Zaitan was pretty incredible boss by the look of him, and I can't wait till I actually run that dungeon myself. But it wasn't as impressive an ending to the game as I was hoping.
I can get that. I can understand where you're coming from with that. He's visually impressing, but how would you say it? He's not. He's impressive looking. He's not intimidating. Is basically
like that last scene where we actually kill him. He's clamped onto this pillar in the middle of the ruins of war, and there's no real threat there. You're just shooting cannons at him until he dies. Yeah, it's not the climactic final battle that I was hoping.
Yeah.
And I really believe that if they wanted the personal story to really impact how the game ends, which there should have been alternative endings, in my opinion. I think they could have done it for this style of MMO, even as an MMO, in which all the orders have their own way of fighting Zaitan. The way in which you fight Zaitan depends on the order instead of going through a dungeon. It could have still been a dungeon, but and then there's problems with having parties that have different orders within them and that mess. But
yeah,
I really think there could have been better alternatives than a dungeon ending the way it was.
And you think
especially spitting in the face of the other two orders like that was kind of a low blow too.
Yeah. Do you think that it might have been due to rushing, wanting to get the game out, that the end-all be-all result
Absolutely not.
really wasn't thought out clearly, or it was implemented?
I think they had
as a placeholder.
I think they had plenty of time. I think they had plenty of time to decide the ending on how they wanted the boss fight to be. However, possibly, if they did have time to think about it, like really sit down and think of how do we want to defeat Zaitan, they may have just made the wrong decision, or they could have just... I don't think they overlooked the fact that they're spitting in the face of the other two orders, because that's a big deal right there. That's kind of like degrading people who chose the Order of Whispers or the German Priory. And I chose the German Priory for one, so I'm not really looking forward to that ending in that regard. But it could have been a budget thing. It could have been they just couldn't come up with different scenarios in which the personal story would work around it. They did good, like visually, mechanically, besides the actual end fight itself. The entire dungeon looks impressive, and I'm sure it plays impressively, despite the glitches and things that went wrong with the first couple of attempts back about a month ago, when people finally got there. But yeah, I just hope they go back to it eventually and learn from the fact that it's not the best way they could have done it.
Yeah. It could have been cleaner. I'll agree with that. About the orders, though, do you think that might have something partially to do with the build-up of continuing story, though?
I hope so. I hope they expand on the orders, especially into additional campaigns. Because the orders are a big deal. It kind of determines the second half of your personal story, for the most part. And yeah, in terms of if we go to Cantha, I imagine that they're not just going to expand on the existing orders. I hope they add order to a point, after a certain level cap, or if they even increase the level cap, where you choose a second order related to Cantha, like the Zunlai or something. Just for example, in the fight against the Tengu, or if we actually play as Tengu, there's an order where it's kind of going against the Zunlai. That would be interesting. So, or in terms of a Cantha, we could have... I can see a rebirth of the Sunspear faction of Alona. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I actually would like to see that myself.
Then again, that's just part of my Nightfall bias, and I'm still missing my Dervish, so we never know.
I know you missed.
Knock on wood. I missed my Scythe, man.
You missed out on Halloween, though. If you look on the trading post, actually, there is a Scythe skin, so...
What?
There is. They added one for Halloween.
Oh, I got the Mad King's
it's for staff.
Garments.
It's for staff. But, yeah, there is a side weapon.
Dang. Is it still up? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's under style, yeah?
No, it's just a weapon.
Oh. Oh, okay. Never mind then, I get it. Yeah. Oh, hello. More destroyers.
I'd love to destroy it.
Yeah, that's. We haven't seen much of Primordius besides his little minions either. The ending to the first Guild Wars was fantastic in my opinion. That was well done. I hope I was hoping kind of for one of those kinds of endings with Guild Wars 2, but yeah, that's what I get for hoping.
Well, it's not over yet either.
Not over yet. True. We got some more content to go through.
Okay, so...
Oh, my inventory's already full.
Yeah, it fills up quick in here. So basically, to end this off a little bit, what do you think the future holds for the core game? I'm not talking about any expansions or anything. I'm talking about core game right now. From what you've seen and what you've heard about and everything, what plausible things are you most theory crafted into believing at this point in time?
Well, partly the deep sea dragon getting, well, not revealed, but hinted at, like you said earlier. But I can't really. Well, Zaitan's dead, so there's one elder dragon gone. The fact remains, though, that the Sylvari are more interested. I'm more interested in the Sylvari story right now because the theories on the sixth elder dragon, in which the Sylvari, the Pale Tree, is its champion, is very interesting. And I believe that before the core game has run its course and before we get another expansion, we might be hinted at the origin of the Pale Tree and the seeds where Ronan found. The seed of which Ronan found. But additionally, we've looking at the map that was found in like the .dat files before the game launched, we can see that Tyria, the country of Tyria, or the continent of Tyria, is incredibly small compared to the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. And Tyria is really like Tyria, Cantha, Alona. They're, well, not so much Alona anymore, but they're kind of the only lush habitable lands out there, and I really believe that the rest of the Tyria is just a plague full of more elder dragons, hundreds if not thousands of them. There's really going to be no end to the threat on Tyria itself, and we might have some intervention from the human gods. I don't know, but
they should be making a comeback.
Yeah, I can see it in either like near the last content update or an expansion somewhere.
I wouldn't think they would.
I'm looking forward to.
I wouldn't think they would align with the humans, though. I think
so.
They're done with the humans. Truthfully.
Yeah, I believe they've lost faith in humanity itself, so, which is why they left in the first place. But there's a whole nother tangent I can go on about Cormyr, but that's probably for another day.
Oh, you can talk about Cormyr if you wish. We all love her.
Yeah, but I've rambled enough on that stuff.
Alright. So, basically what you're saying is you think that there's sector Zool. That's what we're looking for. You basically are coming up with the station that the game will see limitless possibility due to possibly, because we know that the Elder Dragons all exist in Tyrian continent right now. Whereas initially it was speculated that they would be split up and some would appear in Canthan, some would appear in Alolan, some would be in Tyrian, but they all wouldn't be, here, it was pegged as Kralkatorrik, Zaitan, and Primordius. We're supposed to be here. And then people were mentioning that other ones were going to be spread out a little bit. Nobody knew anything about Deep Sea Dragon until recently. And but basically what you're hinting at is that through additional Elder Dragons, which I believe when we see expansions we'll see additional Elder Dragons, because you can't presume that we're the only continent that is experiencing turmoil through these mega giant presences.
Yeah, definitely.
And you think that'll give basically the replayability and longevity of content?
Yes, absolutely. there are limitless possibilities with the universe of Guild Wars. It's just up to the arena how they want to use that universe and how to tell the rest of its story.
Right. All right. Anything you want to plug before we end this off?
No, I think I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Nothing going on, just playing the games, huh?
Just playing the games. I'm writing a show called How to Be an Evil Genius, teaching rudimentary physics to you YouTubers. That'll be releasing sometime in the next few weeks. But...
Well, that sounds juicy.
Oh, yes. The first lesson is beheading midgets.
Oh, I'll definitely be watching this one. All right. Well, it has been an interesting little conversation we have had here. If you guys want to check out Riukishinn's channel, it will be in the ending reel, the credits, as it were. There will also be a link in the description below, directly to his channel. I would suggest subscribing if you enjoy his content, so you get the latest updates and everything that he's doing. And I will see you all next week with another special guest where we'll be talking about dynamic events. And until that time, I will catch you all later. Thank you, Riukishinn. It has been an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you, Game Junkie.
We will now continue on as I try to remember where this damn jumping puzzle is. So, adieu. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the first ever gear breakdown. That's right, here on GW2Gasm, which is all things Guild Wars. We have many questions come to my personal email. One of the more important ones, well, not necessarily more important ones, but the most asked ones is, what kind of gear do you work with? What's your gear ratio? Do you build towards a certain stat more than others? And is that really level 60 armor you're wearing? Well, I'm going to answer all those questions right now. I'm actually going to do this with my characters, but gear breakdown isn't all about gear. I am also going to include week to week, which I will go through my Ranger's gear and then my Warrior's gear. But I am also going to include gear such as collectible items for Guild Wars 2 for collectors out there, because I know some certain spots where you can get some really good stuff, and also some other stuff that I come across. So let's get right into this, shall we? Now this is my dungeon set. You can see I'm up here in the beautiful snowy landscapes of, well, you know where I am. So this is basically my gear set. We're not going to get into all of the stats. You guys can look over here at the stats if you want. Don't worry about all the skills at the bottom. I'll go into builds sooner or later, what I run with, what I like. You can see a whole bunch of crap over here. Yeah. And I'm a dignified ranger. I'm not necessarily charismatic or ferocious. I'm not ashamed of that. I like being dignified. And just to start off with this is Cultural 3 Human. There's about 80 gold worth of gear just sitting right here. I didn't bother with the helm or the boots. I don't necessarily like the boots of Cultural 3 Human. They're sandals, and I'm more of a boot look. So everything in here basically is crafted exotics leatherworking, which my warrior did, and then pawned down to my ranger here, who has no crafting expertise at all whatsoever. So to start right off, I hide the helm because, let's face facts, I don't know if I can get my mouse to work right here. The helm is completely ugly. ArenaNet, what are you thinking with exotic craftable gear? Seriously. So I hide this. I don't like it. But I also don't like Ranger Mask, so I didn't even bother getting the cultural Ranger Mask. But you can see I run with Berserker's gear. It's all Berserker's gear. And I run with Superior Runes of the Pack, of which I'm 6 of 6 on my dungeon set. Mainly for the power and precision. But the one critical fact that keeps me from Ranger Runes, other than the Pack Runes, why I chose the Pack Runes, is every 10 seconds I have a 5% chance to grant nearby allies Might, Fury, and Swiftness when I just attack. I don't have to do anything special, I just have to attack, and I really like that. Now there are 4 pieces here. There are still berserkers, crafted exotics, but they are under the assassins tag because they are cultural 3 human female armor. And the boots, of course, are berserkers and blazing boots of the pack. So that's basically my gear outset. It's very heavy on precision and power and critical damage ups with the pack runes. My main weapons, let's switch over here. My melee weapons are twin sisters, and that carries a superior signal of force for 5% damage. I'm getting attacked. And then in my offhand, I have a Cleaver of Blood. Now, Cleaver of Blood actually is a pearl weapon that I skinned with a Guild Axe skin. You can see actually if I close this down right here, that's basically what it looks like. I tend to like skins. I like to have things that look pretty to me. I don't like to walk around looking like everybody else. I don't like to have especially pearl weapons because I really dislike the pearl weapon look. I don't know what Arena was thinking. There's somebody in the guild that has the pearl shield though, and the pearl shield actually is pretty cool looking. It's tribal. I really dig on it. It's nice. It's a nice shield. I don't know why the rest of the pearl stuff can't look the same, but I don't know. Arena is something you got to work on seriously. And the Cleaver of Blood carries a superior signal of blood. 30% chance on critical to steal health. This effect cannot trigger more than once every 2 seconds.
Assemble those turrets. With them and a few guards, we can properly
Let's see what else
this
have I got here.
entrance.
Then, every ranger, of course, has to have a bow. Again, it's a pearl weapon. Skinned it with the guild crest. You see right there. And this is a longbow of bloodlust. Again, it was a pearl weapon, and I hate the pearl weapon. This carries a superior signal of bloodlust. Gain 10 power each time you kill a foe. And you can see down there in the lower corner above my toolbar, you can see that I have a charge of 17 on that currently. I was just out here doing my dailies and had to gather, and 17 things got in my way while I was doing this. This has big ups on power, precision, and a 9% critical on it. It's a really good bow. I'm liking it. And I like the skin. More notably for the guild, I actually like most of the guild skins that they have. There are better looking ones out there. It's just eventually this will change and I will get newer skins for everything that I have, probably more likely than not. Now I have Men Memoirs Complete Edition, and I really do like it. I'm not far enough in my story to have the final back piece. I don't know if I will replace what I have on right now, which is the Guild Assassin Backpack of the Berserker, and I only mainly have that because, for some reason, as of recording this, the upgrade slot on the Mad Memoirs cannot be added to. Is it a glitch? I really don't know, but I couldn't do that, and I had to put an exquisite ruby jewel on something, so I just went out and bought the Guild Assassin Backpack of the Berserker, which ran me 5 gold. Obviously, I don't show this because, I don't know. Oh, you can't even see it on this, but it doesn't look very good. It looks like I got hunchback. And I like the bareback look. I run dual ruby orichalcum earrings of the Berserker, which is big ups on power, precision, and crit damage. This is just my dungeon set. I also have a farming set, which you can see over here on the left. We'll go over that probably next week. I run dual ruby orichalcum rings of the Berserker as well. Big ups on power, precision, crit damage, just like that. And this is my showpiece. This is the thing I'm most proud of in my whole gear set. The Triforge Pendant of the Berserker, which I crafted on my warrior. I had to buy some of the mats, but I believe it's really, really worth it. We could take a look at the trading post in a second here and see the current market value for this item. But it's plus 40 on power, precision, toughness, vitality, healing power, and condition with a 5% critical damage on that. And I also put an exquisite ruby jewel for 25 power, 3% critical, and 15 precision on that. The Aqua Breather is probably my lowest piece of gear that I have. I hate it. There is a level 77 one that I will do a tutorial on if you guys don't know where it is or how to go about getting it. I'm getting attacked again. What is my pet doing? Is my pet not helping me out here? Anyway, We won't die. We shouldn't die. Let's put this up. Sorry I clicked there, but... What is my pet doing? Attacked my foe. But the aqua breathers are kind of a sore spot for me, simply because... God damn it.
Come here.
You attack him. Technical difficulties, folks. I do apologize. I might actually have to take care of this. You can see my pet there handling some business. That's right. I currently have a level 47 aqua breather. My warriors is much higher because he had access to the area where you get the level 77 one. As far as I know, there is no level 80 rare or exotic aqua breather, which might be an oversight on ArenaNet's part. I don't know why there's not a craftable aqua breather. There should be. Hopefully they'll add it soon. And of course, it's just a low-level piece of gear, so I just have a minor rune of divinity on it. It's not something I'm keeping. I really don't care too much about it. It gets me by in the water when I have to be in the water. But other than that, it's, you know, it's basically just a forget-me piece of gear. It also is my only non-piece of exotic gear that I run on my dungeon set, other than the GW2Gasm backpack of the Berserker. My harpoon gun is, I can't pronounce a word. It's an addle. I don't know what that is. I don't know how to say it. We're going to call it Affleck. So I have an Affleck, which is big ups on vitality, healing power, and condition damage with a superior sigil of corruption. 10 condition damage each time I kill a foe, up to 25 times, and it ends on when I go down. Yeah, when I go down, you know. Yeah. And then my alternate is a Spade of the Deep, big ups on power, precision, and condition, with a superior sigil of perception, which is 10 precision each time I kill a foe, up to 25 times, and ends on a down. So that's basically my outset of my dungeon gear, guys. For those of you who have asked about my gear sets and things like that, or what do I run with, what stats do I work on, you can see here major power, but equally good toughness and vitality for when I'm doing dungeons, because if you're going into a dungeon and you have none of this and you're just a glass cannon, you're basically useless to a group, in my opinion. You got to be able to take care of yourself out there. Let's take a look at the trading post right now. Triforge pendant. Triforge pendant currently is 90 gold, and there's only 6 available. This thing is a bitch to make. Yeah, that's the low end too. But you have to craft the ruby, emerald, and sapphire pendant. Those are the base materials required for the Triforge pendant. And I really do like this item. I love this item. It will obviously be trumped sooner or later by ArenaNet, who will add another piece of gear that will severely trump this piece of gear, probably. But I do like the tooltip down there in the bottom. True greatness comes for those who have the wisdom to do right, the courage to embark, and the power to follow through. Logan Thackeray. Not a big Logan Thackeray fan, I have to say. I'm not in the fan club, but I do love the Zelda reference, and I do love this item. So, that has been this week's gear breakdown for my Ranger Zone Pirate. For you guys who have been asking to see my gear or what I run with or anything like that, you have just seen set 1. I will go over my farming set next week for you guys who are interested. And then we will move on to my warrior and do some other things like that. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of GW2Gasm. And I will see you next week. Make sure to like, favorite, and subscribe if you enjoy this and want to see each episode as it comes out. Live long and prosper, and game on.
Every day I'm shuffling.